Check, check. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Drescher. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am a member of the UUCA Board of Trustees. There's a lot going on here at UUCA. Never more true than during the winter holiday season. And there's a lot of places to find that information. If you don't catch my announcements today, your order of service has your announcements, as well as the weekly e-announcements, newsletters, Facebook, the website, the bulletin boards, all that fun stuff. If you are new with us this morning, then you may also want to fill out and return a blue card in the seat pocket near you and be added to our email list and realm, which is the virtual extension of our physical community here. So some specific things coming up later this month and into the start of the year. This Sunday, December 8th, the UU Humanist Free Thought Group will be meeting here at 5 p.m. On Tuesday, the 11th, the UU Women's Christmas Luncheon will be going on at Bonefish Grill at 11:30. There must be something wrong because both Tuesday and Wednesday are listed as the 11th, and I'm not sure. Tuesday's the 10th. The 10th for the women's luncheon. Tuesday is correct, though? Can any women's? Okay, Tuesday, December 10th, the UU Women's Christmas Luncheon is going on at Bonefish Grill at 11:30 a.m. And then Wednesday, December 11th, the Blue Christmas bread and soup meal will be here at the church from 6:30 to 8. And that gets us all the way to Friday, December 13th, where we'll be having the pagan potluck to use at 6:30 p.m. here at the church. And then looking a little further out, Christmas Eve service and cookie exchange will be at 5:30 p.m. on December 24th. And then all the lovely decorations we have here will be taken down Saturday, January 4th at 1:30 p.m. We hope you'll linger with us after worship service for conversation, coffee, and fellowship, either on Zoom or if you're with us in person in our common room. Worship will begin shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. We're gathered here to create a beloved community, acting together with compassion, reason, and respect, empowering us to promote a just society. My name is Chris Garcia. Today I'll be co-creating the service with Reverend Jane Page and Reverend Randy Blasch. Josef Patchen, our music director, the talented folk running our tech deck. And all of you, we're all shaping this morning together. So if you're a first-time visitor today, We encourage you to stop by the greeters table outside and following the service to get more acquainted with the church. And also, our membership coordinator, Fern Smith, would love to talk to you and find out what kind of things you're interested in. Also, in the seat in front of you, there is a blue card that lists some of the things that our church has to offer. And we invite you to fill out that blue card and use that as a guide for conversation and things that we might be able to help you get plugged into if this is your first time. And speaking for myself, if this is your first time here, we hope you find something here that you think is worth coming back to someday. We're excited to have our longtime friend of UUCA, Reverend Dr. Jane Page, with us today, and she'll be joining us for a pulpit swatch with the UU Fellowship of Statesboro. I believe that means that Reverend Nick is speaking in Statesboro. All right. She retired as a professor and department chair emerita from the College of Education, Georgia Southern University in 2005, and she spent the last 2 decades serving as a Unitarian Universalist congregations in Southeast Georgia. As an educator and a minister, she spent much of her life advocating for peace, freedom, and justice for all. Today, we get 2 for the price of 1. Randy Blasch is in his final year of study at Meadville Lombard Theological School while he serves as an intern minister at the UU Fellowship of Statesboro and the Unitarian Universalists of Coastal Georgia in Brunswick. He's the father of 2 grown boys, the grandfather of 3. He currently lives in Brunswick with his dog Bentley and his cat Cheeto. The message this morning will be Seasons of Darkness, followed by Celebrations of Light. Whether you're here in person or joining us virtually, we welcome and celebrate all of who you are as you are.
This is a winter solstice chalice lighting by Ariel Hunt Baldwin. Flaming chalice, symbol of our living tradition, we kindle you for light.
Light in this darkest season of the year, light to reveal the sources of greed and hate among us, light to guide our way forward together.
Chalice flame, we kindle you for love.
Love to keep our hands and hearts warm in the wintry cold. Love to comfort us as our hearts break for the pain of the world. Love to bring us into community so we may grow stronger together.
Chalice flame, we kindle you for hope.
Hope that the sun will shine again. Hope that one day soon peace will prevail. Hope that we may build the beloved community together.
For light, love, and hope, we kindle our flame this day.
Would you rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 55, Dark of Winter?
Let my thoughts go where they
Margaret Tuck with the Pastoral Care team, and I see the microphone is not where. Is it working? Okay? Okay. This is the time in our service when we share joys and sorrows that have come into our lives in the past week. If you would like to share, please come up here to my right and you'll be invited to share. Everyone who shared today, and another stone for those who can't be with us. Thank you.
I've been reading a book by Sam Harris called Waking Up. Sam Harris is a famous atheist, so when atheists talk about mysticism, I want to read it. One thing he points out, which I'm beginning to realize is totally true, is that we have a natural tendency to hide without realizing it from whatever is happening in front of us. Right now, none of you are thinking of the fact that you're sitting here in a chair. You may be thinking about what you want to eat. You might be thinking about what's waiting for you at home. You might be wondering what I'm going on about. But the only thing that you are really doing is sitting in a chair. Everything else, except that, is incidental. So mindfulness or Zen monks staring at a wall for 20 minutes or an hour is really about just doing nothing. We live in a culture where nobody has taught you how to just sit and do nothing and not be bugged about it. So for 1 minute, we are going to do nothing. And if you're capable of letting your mind settle down and be quiet, follow your breath and do that. If you just can't do that and you got to think about something, just say to yourself over and over, I am sitting in a chair. 1 minute, I'll watch the time. This is our second Sunday. The plate of our offering will be going to the Southern Poverty Law Center to support their work in marginalized communities who may now, also be at an extra risk as a result of the incoming administration. If you know anything about Southern Poverty Law Center, they have always had their work cut out for them and have had to deal with the same kind of violence and opposition that many racial groups in the South have had to deal with. So you may give cash or check. If you're a credit card person, you can use the text address on the screen above. Would the ushers come forward?
Good morning. Wow, y'all, it was so great to be back in here and be back with some of you today. I got some really, really good hugs this morning. Oh, you folks are good huggers, and I know, some of you I don't know, I'll take a hug from you too, but the ones I do know from many years ago, when I served did my internship here in 2005, 2006. So when I say I ministered for 2 decades in Southeast Georgia, began here as your intern minister in 2005. And so glad to have been a part of this community. I lived here for a while, and it's good to be back again with you this morning. I'm so glad that Nick wanted to do this pulpit swap. You're getting a 2-for-1, though. You're getting me and my intern. We had to pay it back, you know, so my intern, Randy Blasch, this morning. So today is December 8th. We're in the midst of the holiday season. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa-la-la, and all that, you know, okay? But when I wake up lately, y'all, I'm more often to be singing a song like this. Ba-ba-da-dum, ba-ba-da-dum, ba-ba-da-dum. I woke up this morning, I had them Statesboro blues. Yeah, I woke up this morning, had them Statesboro blues. I looked over in the corner, Grandma and Grandpa, they had them too. Yeah. Blind Willie McTell from Thompson, Georgia, was a traveling blues singer, and he declared after being rejected by some Statesboro woman that he was putting on his traveling shoes because he had them Statesboro blues. And the song was later popularized by the Allman Brothers, yes. Now, since the Allman Brothers put Statesboro on the map for their fans, I've been bothered by the implications of that song. It's not good to be from a town that's known by giving you the blues. But if you listen to the song, it's not the location that was Blind Willie's problem. And Statesboro is not my problem either. The town is not what gets me down. But I do find that when December rolls around, I often sing the blues. The days get short, the nights get long, my heart gets to hurting, and I sing a sad song. December, y'all, is not my favorite month. And the Christmas season, the holiday season, doesn't bring the joy with it that I'm supposed to feel. I think that's part of the problem, that it's supposed to be the season of joy and happiness. And when you have difficulties, or anniversaries of many difficulties, when you or a family member is sick or hurting from physical problems or financial problems or mental, emotional, or spiritual problems, and all of this is just juxtaposed against all that shiny tinsel and the glitter of the season, it's just hard to reconcile. Now, I found that I'm not the only person who gets a little sad at this time of the year. In fact, there's a special diagnosis that goes with the blue feeling that some people get in the wintertime. It's called seasonal affectional disorder, or SAD for short. Now, I'm one of the lucky ones in that my depression is seasonal and situational, not a chronic illness. And my blue Christmas feeling is probably more related to extremely difficult events that have occurred in my life on or near Christmas. And Lordy, they seem to keep on coming. And this year it's just juxtaposed over worry about our future as well. But it's situational, it's seasonal. So mine might not even be diagnosed as sad, which is more related to the diminishing sunlight. There are those among us, though, who have a more chronic kind of depression, And I'm familiar with this as well, having family members who suffer. And you know, most of us don't realize what folks are going through in their lives. You look on Facebook or other social media and see the little joyful pictures of the sunsets, etc. We don't know. We think they have it all together. But my reading and my own experiences tell me a different story. You get into pastoral care, you find out, you know. Tell me a different story. Now, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but I do not doubt that most of us has someone close to us, or maybe even ourselves, who suffers from depression. One reason I'm pretty confident that we have lots of folks who have suffered from depression here is because you congregations have so many wonderfully creative, talented people. And those gifts are often accompanied by possibilities for depression. Mental health professionals offer us great encouragement, though. They tell us that depression can be managed, if not cured, by medication and therapy. Sometimes it takes a while for each person to find out what works best for them. Exercise works well for me, you know, just get out there and spin that bicycle or something. There's no perfect recipe. But I also wonder if some of us don't run for the feel-better pill a little too quickly. Now, I'm especially talking to folks who may not have a really severe critical situation. I know that some, you better take that pill every day, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this situational thing that comes up with some of us. Because sometimes, folks, we may all need to just be a little more comfortable with sadness. A little more comfortable with sadness. A little more comfortable with darkness. Many, many years ago, I had my first trip to Women's Spirit at the mountain. How many of you have been to the mountain near Highlands? All right, okay, you know what where I'm talking about. So we went on a truss walk they were having. Now up in these mountains, those of you who've been up to the mountain, you know there are no street lights. It's truly dark, truly dark. And we got into the vans, then they took us to an area where we were going to walk down into a gorge and eventually end up behind a waterfall in the dark. And we were to make our way just by holding the hand of the person in front of us with our all-knowing guide in the front. This woman who'd been doing it for years, she said, just follow me. Okay. She shared with us, though, that after a while, our eyes would adjust to the dark. Give it a little time, she said, and we would be able to see well enough to find our way. And you know, she was right. It took a little groping around at first, but my eyes did adjust. And I could see well enough that I felt more secure, especially knowing that there were others around. And it was a beautiful kind of event, so meaningful. I share this story, of course, to say that when the darkness or the blues fall on me, as they do, especially this time of year, I don't immediately look for the flashlight of a pill or a drink or something. I wait for my eyes to adjust. I wait for my eyes to adjust, my internal eyes, and I can usually see. I recognize it. I call it by name. I say, hey, I see you, winter blues. There you are again. I was wondering when you'd show up this year. This year it came at Thanksgiving a little early for me this year. Show up early, well, you know, I want to shut the door. But I invite depression in like a good neighbor would do. Like a good neighbor would do. But depression for me is a temporary visitor, for me, not a permanent house guest. I suppose if I did have chronic depression, though, I would try to fix up a room for her. You know, here's your room, and hope she'd spend most of the time there and not take over the whole house. Rick Maston, who wrote our popular hymn, Let It Be a Dance, wrote much about his journey to death before he died with cancer. And he said he had learned to dance with sadness. Just dance with it. Now, some of you here know how much I love to dance. So I, too, will dance this year with my sadness for a bit. But it can't have the whole dance card. You young folks didn't get that, you know, what a dance card is. Can't have the whole dance card. And that is one reason I like coming to UU churches and being with folks like you, so that I can dance with you too. And we can share our joys and concerns, our hopes and dreams, our despair and our care, and listen and commune with one another. Yes, the days are longer, and we have more darkness, literally and metaphorically, more darkness in our lives. But darkness can signal a time for rest, to give us time to heal. Indeed, darkness can be sacred and holy. Many holy things can emerge from the darkness and from the night. So as I end this brief homily, I invite you to breathe deeply as Joe plays a familiar song about an old story that happened on a holy night, followed by a few moments of silence, and then Randy will share his homily.
I did not have an internship here, but I also, like Jane, have a connection to your congregation. When I walked onto the campus of Meadville Lombard for the first time in 2019, wondering what a 50-something-year-old man was doing going into seminary, I was greeted by a wonderful young man who walked up and said, "I remember seeing you at GA. Welcome to Meadville." And that was your own Reverend Nick Filson, and we've had a connection ever since then. As Jane said in her homily, our days are getting shorter. Winter is officially still around the corner, and the skies are getting gloomy. But when I wake up this time of year, it's with the songs of Vince Guaraldi in my head. I'm looking forward and got to watch Frosty the Snowman this last week and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I will tell you that my season will not be complete until I watch A Charlie Brown Christmas. I got excited when I received an email just a couple weeks ago from my HOA where I live, reminding me that beginning the day after Thanksgiving, I could start putting up my Christmas lights at home. And this past week, I put up my Christmas tree, which it in itself is an adventure because I have a 6-month-old kitten in my house. I think I spent half of my time pulling him out of the tree rather than even looking at it. This next week, I'll move on to put the lights around my front door. I have been asking Siri to play Christmas music in my house. I listen to it in the car. I drop spare change in the red kettle. I am one of those people. And just last Sunday, I got to sing in the chorus of the Messiah on St. Simon's Island. It is time in my heart to celebrate. And yes, the days are short, but it's also a season of light, a time to celebrate. We are now in the second week of Advent on the Christian calendar. Advent's history is as an invitation, a time to examine our hearts and, of course, watch a 24 hours of A Christmas Story. Each Sunday, we people in the Christian tradition will light a candle, symbolizing something new, something different. The first week, last Sunday, was about hope. This week is about peace, followed by joy, and then love is the candle that's lit on Christmas Eve. And starting on Christmas Day, the 25th, Hanukkah begins, the Jewish festival of lights. And for the next 8 days after that, a candle is lit remembering the fight for religious freedom for the Jewish people. Kwanzaa begins on the 26th. Each day from the 26th, from the 1st till the 1st of January, candles are lit in households, in churches, representing unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Another celebration where light is at the center. And of course, last but certainly not least, is the celebration of solstice on the 21st, where we honor the shortest day of the year, but when we know that the days will begin to grow longer, and we welcome back the light and all that it brings. We have so many celebrations of light this time of year, and I know this time of year, as Jane said, can be difficult for some. But all of these celebrations are about hope and newness and the return of light, whether it be metaphorical or physical, to our lives. And as excited and giddy as I am about the season, I also know this one will be different for me than any other time ever. This year, for the first time in my lifetime, I will be alone for Christmas. My younger son will be with his wife's side of the family. My older son and his mother has his mother and sister-in-law coming from Japan to visit, and I will be by myself. I won't be getting up early on Christmas Day to put the roast in the oven or making pies or piles and piles of mashed potatoes. I will be celebrating with me. Now, I do plan on spending at least part of that day at the local homeless shelter called The Well in Brunswick, volunteering and celebrating with the staff and the guests who will be there. And it's already happened, but I was guessing that someone at the church in Brunswick would probably invite me for Christmas dinner. And my not so subtle hint to them was taken up, and I will be joining some folks for dinner that day. But most of my day that day will be leaning into the light. This year has been a hard year for many of us. A year of change and loss. And we are now heading into a new year full of unknowns and, frankly, fear. But we are blessed in our little faith tradition. We are blessed that it isn't just about Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or the solstice. We are about the love, the light that is at the center of all we do and all that we are. It's about sharing our light with others and letting others share their light with us. It's about the light that we create together to illuminate the world and help guide us from the darkness that can surround us. It is time to celebrate with laughter and smiles and gifts and candles and tears. Each other, the light that each of us brings together. I was thrilled when you played your little offertory because I'm going to ask us to do it again. And join me. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. It's time for us to share that light with each other. May your light shine upon the world, and may you be illuminated by the light that surrounds you. Amen. Ashe, and may it be so.
Would you rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 142, Let There Be Light.
Now for the extinguishing of our chalice, which Randy will do. This is by Andrew Pakula. May you know fully and deeply the blessings of each of your heart's seasons, the inward turning of winter, springtime's lush renewal, the effortless, steady growth of summer, and autumn's rich harvest. May your passage from season to season be blessed, eased by hands to hold, and the light of love to guide you on. We've extinguished the light in this chalice, but not the light of love in our hearts, which will go with us out into the community and be with us until we are together again. Amen.